Hello again, and it's me again, back to you with another video. And I have a feeling that this will, I don't know, kind of blow up. So if you are new to the channel, then yeah, my name's Marquise. I go by that, and yeah, let's get to it. But to my consistent viewers, I am terribly sorry for my inconsistency. Summer has not been going as planned at all. There's so many side quests, so many other agendas that are not my own. And yeah, the intention of this video is basically for closure. It's in the title, or at least I'll put it there. And my objective is basically to pour out everything that has happened over the past couple years, and how it all ties into my journey and whatnot. So yeah, this is gonna be a bit long, so buckle up. I don't know, bro, but sometimes I feel like my life has just been a pretty long series of events. I'm literally 15 going to 16, and I feel like I'm already 24. I feel so old. And I had a lot of things that I have encountered, and I don't know. There's just a lot. So let's start this story. So it all started age 13. Um, I just moved countries, and I literally was at a point in my life where I was basically like spiritually lost in a sense, where I was surrounded by basically God my whole life. I was surrounded by church and all these things, but it was at a point where I started to like feel desolate because I was moved from like the place where I grew up in. I had to go back to my country. And then I was at a point where I was like, man, I can't do this. I need something, bro. I need to hold on to something. And at that point, I was just nothing made sense. And then it was around this point that I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just calm down. And I made a vow to myself, age 13, the beginning. I was like, you know what? No matter what happens, I will not reject God. Partly because I was afraid of Judgment Day, but also because it just is something that I can hold on to no matter what, like no matter what changes, no matter what happens. But then during age 13, after I made that decision, I like was led through a series of events that later on shaped the trajectory of my entire personal growth. And it was around this age 13 that I, through my soul searching, reading the Bible, the bits and pieces of other spiritual texts and manuscripts, I got into contact with people that like have the same beliefs as me, have the same like basically like-minded people in Nigeria, bro. Like it was literally soul awakening, whatever. And then it was during this time that this whole thing started to pop off. So it was around this time where I basically came back from a program that I was it was good, but like I still was like needing more. So through the forums, through like all the connections that I made, I just branched out, started like talking about my stuff, and I was 13, and it kind of was like a shocker because you don't usually have a soul searching crisis until you're 30 or 20. So I was 13, and I was searching, and then I just started to put out my whatever out there until I got a DM. It was in the forum. It was like, hey, DM me. And I was like, I didn't think anything of it, and then I just DM'd because I was like, what else, bro? I need a vent. I need to pour out. So I was there, and then we started talking. It was just like my normal problems at first, like, oh, what do you think about God, or like all these deep level philosophical thinking of mine. And then it was at first supposed to be just like a vent and dump. I don't know. It was supposed to just be like a quick, and then it basically started to get into a mentorship kind of thing. I didn't know how it got there, but I was like, you know what, this guy is basically it, bro. Like, this is what I want. And then I didn't have to pay nothing. I didn't have to. I didn't have to do any high level networking. I didn't have to do nothing. But I was like, okay, well, I already have a mentor now, so let me deal with this, And then it was during that time that things really actually started to change because this man, bro, yes, like he's probably like one of the biggest shareholders in the narrative that is my life. So age 13 is probably like the peak, bros. And then it started as, as we talked, as we, developed the relationship and the, you know, discussions and stuff like that. He told me one of the things that I can never forget is that the reason why he was in the place that he was, successful, living life on his own terms and all these things was because of the fact that if you like value your spiritual, if you like develop it, all these other things will follow. The seeking first the kingdom of God and all these things should be added onto you. But then it was in effect, it was like actually happening. And then he told me two things: just to be able to quiet your mind and talk to God. Literally, just talk to Him wherever you are, whenever you can, in whatever circumstance. And not in the like, the normal prayer, but just talk to Him as if it's like your best friend. These two things, bro, these are the two things that basically started the trajectory that it was unprecedented. And yeah, with these two things, my life basically started to become a movie. Like literally, I entered spiritual prime, and it wasn't even close. I started having coincidences happen to me that was so pretty darn good. I started having blessings, favor, and all these things, and I started gaining superpowers. started gaining superpowers, low key. And I was at a point where I could basically just read my textbooks during like an hour before exams, like not cramming, just reading it, and I used to pass, bro. Like that's how broken I was. I started having infinite energy to do whatever I want. Like I can't explain it, but no matter how tired I am, like once I start to get into this mode, like this rhythm, I can just do anything. The challenges, bro. Those a lot of challenges in my life during that point, but it was just so gamified that I was so desensitized to the problems. I was like, there's another boss, bro. There was so many problems I had. There was girls, bro. Um there was principals that were evil. I don't know, bro. I'm sorry to diss my old principal, but man, that man was like um, a different dragon, bro. And there was like um skipping the after classes. That was a whole different challenge all in itself. And basically, there was just a lot of things that could right now be definitely seen as issues. But then during that time, I was so like. But then there was also a bad side to my life, which is the fact that I didn't really have a proper sleep schedule. Like I don't know what I was on, but I didn't drink coffee. I didn't drink none. But I sleep by 12 p.m. I was kind of like, I don't know. I sleep. I mean, not 12 p.m. I sleep by 12 a.m. I sleep like 12 or 1. And then the worst part about it is that I wake up by 1. I wake up by 5 in the morning because I still have to remember. I still have to talk to my mentor, who lives in Dubai, 3 hours away. So by 5, it's like 7 in his time. So I had to wake up by 5 a.m. every single day. I had to call him. We stay on a call for 1 hour, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I do whatever I want, and then I eat, and then I watch anime recaps. That was when time was still good. Watch anime recaps, and then like go to school. And then after I go to school, I don't know, bro. But sometimes I do sleep. Okay, most times there is no day that I don't sleep in class, but like I sleep during like the periods where there are no teachers. So it was all well and good. It was all damage control, but it still was the bad side to my spiritual prime. I couldn't really like describe in detail how it felt and how the things occurred. I would probably make a totally different video, but today I just want closure about this topic. Um, and then all of that just to one day get MIA, bro. I got MIA'd by my mentor. And then it low key was like you know when your habits are so ingrained, like you already have like a routine. You wake up by this time, you call only to call, and then nobody's there. So I had to sit there in the darkness and watch manual recaps. And then I kind of did this over and over until I was like, yeah, but basically ghosted off. I'm alone. Basically, I'm already, you know, I'm I'm by myself. But my mentor taught me to be a tough cookie too. I was literally doing 400 push-ups every single day, bro. One of the parts of having a spiritual prime. I had energy. I don't know, but I had the grace. So I still kept the teachings. I still did the affirmations. Still did the stillness. Still did the talking to God whenever, wherever, and then life was still good. Like I was rolling. I was gallivanting through life. I was moving through it. It was good, bro. Until it wasn't. Not even in the woo woo spiritual kind of way, but then whenever you really want to have a relationship with God, life will always try to beat it out of you. I don't know. It always happens to everybody. Life, I don't know. Life just does not want you to function in optimal, in optimality. I don't know if that's a word, but life doesn't want to leave you alone. It always has a way of pulling the rug under you and doing all these things, and then that's when pressure started to build. So I had no safety, okay, not a safety net, but I had no communication right now, right? I had nobody to talk to. Everybody around me was basically part of the, I don't know how to say it, but basically life started not being a movie anymore because when I had somebody that can coach me, tell me what to do this, do that, this is what you had to do, I had none of that no more. And I started slowly but surely slacking off on my prayer. Surely, what am I even saying? Slowly but surely slacking off on the stillness, on the affirmations. I started sleeping more, which was low key kind of good. But then also, I totally started um plummeting in my spiritual stocks basically started plummeting. It wasn't drastic at first, but then it started just slowly but surely going down and down and down and down and down. Now the new year of 2024, there was a kind of time where the spirits were high, resolution. I was celebrating. I wanted to change my life for the better. I wanted to get on the content creation, really be serious with it, change my life around, make money, do all these things. And then it basically around like January 8th, I remember I just stopped because it was so uncomfortable. It was so exhausting. And then I basically just let things happen. I stopped talking to God, stopped doing my meditation, stopped doing affirmation, stopped doing all these things, and it showed. It basically, like I said, my stocks are declining in my spirit. Right, I officially was like, you know, I don't know. It's a hard topic, but not really at the same time. I'm looking back at it. It was a good experience because it taught me a lot of things, but it's also like became a year where like I can right now sit here and say that 2024 was probably the worst year of my life, and that's shocking because COVID was bad. 20 2019, 2020, 2021 was bad. But then I can say here right now that 2024 is probably the worst year, spiritual wise, mental wise, because I was like declining in my mental health. Like real, it wasn't like bad. I didn't start having depression or anything, but I was scrolling. I was binge watching. This was around the summer of 2024. I was basically out of it already. I just started watching. I just started scrolling. I literally had a point where I started like sleeping by 4 a.m., waking up by 9, and then doing the cycle over and over and over again. And then I was averaging like 12 to 14 hours of screen time, bro. Like how do you even have that? Like it was to that extent, like it was that bad. And then that's how 2024 basically became the year that I regretted. But around like the second to the last quarter of 2024, I basically found self improvement. Um I found all these motivational content, motivational gurus, and then it basically did a kind of jump start to my spiritual cardiac problems. It basically jump started me, like putting me on the path like back to meditation, back to doing physical exercise, doing all these things. But then I still didn't have that spark that I had during age 13. Age 13, the only thing that I did was 400 push-ups a day, affirmations, meditation, and I literally talked to God all throughout the day. And then that was good for me. That was it. But then during the self improvement, like when it started like clicking in me, it was like, oh, so I have to get money now, I have to work now, I have to retire my family, all the cliche though. Like, I had to do this. And then it was basically stress, and I was doing self improvement stuff, but then it kind of was like weighing more on my mental health, and it was making it significantly much worse. And then I was like, man, I just still gotta do this, because it's like self improvement basically became a cope, because I lost the thing that made me happy, which was God. And then it was during this point I didn't even pray, I didn't do nothing, I didn't read my Bible. Then I completely was spiritually bankrupt for a while, and then I just channeled everything into self improvement. Turning 15 was kind of like a weird part. I turned 15 on August of 2024, and then I kind of sat down. I was like, man, I gotta fix my life for real. I'm getting old. But then it didn't really sell in until November, when I started getting my first bread in Nigeria. I was like getting what, 30K a month in Naira, so that's like $30. But then for there, it was like a big amount, because that's basically how much a salary earner makes, 30,000. Like I was balling basically, and then that's when I was like, you know what? I need to actually make a change. I need to actually get back on the grind. I need to actually put, I need to fix my mental health. And then it started to go up by then. Um September was a good month. I did self improvement, did made a lot of money. October was a bad month. It dipped. I didn't pray. Made a little amount of money because I was lazy. November was another spike. I did get back on my knees in prayer. And then December I didn't pray as much, but I was basically getting there. I made money, made all these things. And then basically that's how I didn't make any resolutions for this year. I mean, I did like make inputs. I was like, oh, this is what I'm gonna achieve. But then it wasn't like an emotional hype moment. But I definitely started picking myself back up from there. And then it's only now that I'm starting to implement um the practices like prayer and all these things consistently. And yeah, I'm actually 140 days. I have a 140-day streak of my Bible app. So yeah. But this is where it gets wicked, y'all, because literally the week of finals, like we had finals basically in 1 week. But then Monday and Tuesday we were basically like prep, and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday was the final day. But then during Tuesday afternoon, I got back home and I was just chilling, and then I got a call from a number in the UAE, in Dubai, basically. And then I was so like, it was so surreal for me. Like, bro, I was like, oh my god, what is this? What is this? And after that, I picked it because why? Why would I not? No, nobody calls me, bro. I don't have anybody in my contacts. I don't have baddies. I don't have nobody, bro. I am on D&D always. I don't have anybody. So when I was surprisingly not on D&D, I got a call. I was like, okay, let me answer this. And then immediately I heard this man's voice, bro. I was like,
Gojo's domain expansion and Jogo was basically like the Sonic, the Void and everything. That was basically what I was experiencing IRL in real time. And then I just was sitting there, I was like, oh my god.
then we got to talking like, normal stuff. And then the flow was like, it was like weird, but then it was like, it has always been there. And then that was the call, before I basically got into doing my finals and then getting into the summer arc. Now, like I've said, summer has not been going the best for me because I have been on so many side quests, bro. I've been on so much diabolical stuff that I don't even. This summer might be just another other summer, bro. I don't know what to do. I don't know. There's too much. I'm too lazy. I don't know what to do. Until yesterday, I was cleaning the bathroom in church because I clean bathrooms now. Apparently, um, I cleaned, and then I was just like, me and don't shame me for this, but I talked to AI. Me and Chat GPT were talking Thursday night, and then I kind of opened up about my whole situation, and then after that, it just told me like, just do what you did. Just do what you did. That's literally what you had to do. Those core basic principles. Forget the 400 push-ups. Forget the affirmations. Forget everything else. But just learn how to meditate again, and then talk to him in every situation and wherever you are. Like, he's your best friend. And then I did that. I was cleaning. I was obviously bored. I had my phone with me, but I was like, let me not music to. Sorry, let me not listen to music. And then I was cleaning. I just started talking to God. I started talking to him, and then I just got hit with the craziest intuition, impulse, whatever you can call it. But I heard it. So I didn't hear it. I don't hear God, guys. I'm not like Moses. I'm not like them guys. I don't hear him, but I had it deep inside my soul. You know what I'm saying? And then it was that fake it till you make it. You already have the data set. Oh my, bro, that was literally the thing that I should have done from a long time ago. When I was falling, declining in my stocks, I just stayed there. I stayed dormant. I coped with self improvement, and I am genuinely in a better place mentally, financially. You know what I'm saying? But then I am not where I want to be spiritually, and that for me, that's like the major thing. You know, and then it was just like that. Fake it till you make it. You already have the data set. And it's not even like faking it, but like just there are times where you will get distracted in your walk with God, guys. There are times where like life just throws a lot of crap on you. There's just times where there's just your time, your deadlines, you have things to do. Like life just stretches you so thin, but then you just have to realize that you have to push past the tiredness. You have to push past the dryness. And yeah, sometimes your relationship with God can be dry. And my own relationship with God literally died for a year straight. And then only to hear or only to witness in my spirit that I just had to fake it. I just had to not faking it in the public, not going to pray and doing all this, but literally within yourself, by yourself, in your room, in your prayer closet, just do it. That's literally all you have to do. It's just like the self improvement concept that don't wait for motivation. Just start working and building momentum, and that momentum will basically give you the motivation. And I remember this, like when I was like pre, like in my prime, right? I was, I when I started talking to God, it was so annoying because like, why would you talk to an invisible person when you're like doing all these things. And then at first it's really hard to do, and like you keep on slipping, and then it just infuriates you. And then that's what mentor was for, because he kept on telling me, "Did you do it today? Did you talk to God today?" And then I don't like lying. For me, it's just useless. Like unless I necessarily have to. But then I was like, you know what? Let me just do it so that um I can basically say that I did it. And then I keep on doing it, and the momentum stacks up. And this is the thing about prayer, because if you just do all those, the bare minimum, and you keep on doing that consistently, you basically get it. And then I literally had it fake it till you make it. So now, um, applying hollow purple. Okay, not hollow purple. Applying blue and red, and I combine it into hollow purple. The concepts that I've learned from self improvement throughout all this journey of like fixing my life, where I could have just gone this ritual route and like made my life 10 times better. But it's basically all discipline. And this is something that I literally can't wrap my head around. Because why would you want to like I know that relationships takes time, but then like it's just different when you have a relationship with somebody like your best friend or all these people. Like you can just, hey, yo, wanna link up? Me and my buddy are linking up. We're going to Six Flags um on Tuesday. Like it's just that easy. Like you can talk on text, you can DM each other on Instagram, you can send each other memes, but a relationship with God does not operate that way. It doesn't function that way, and that's why it's so infuriating. But then all great things, all truly good, beautiful, and valuable things take time and are hard to cultivate. And the relationship with God is just like one of those things where, for like, when you're in the world, like, let me not be a preacher right now, but when you're like used to easy dopamine, when you're scrolling your phone, when you're traveling, doing all these things, it will be very difficult for you to focus on God, and it will take a lot of discipline too. But then that's just like everything else. That's just like starting a business. That's just like posting on YouTube. That's just like everything that is worthwhile. You need to be disciplined for a time until it basically becomes easy. And then that's how my relationship with God was from the beginning. Was hard. I didn't like it, but then I just kept on going. And then it started to get fun, and it started becoming close. But then right now, I'm not gonna try to reminisce on my peak, bro. I didn't peak on age 13. I'm barely in high school. I need to peak right now in my spiritual life, bro, and I need to continue that momentum. And all it takes is just discipline. It's just discipline, and then yeah, like the sum of the gist of it, that was like the moral and the motivation for you if you're like having a rough patch with God, or like you want to get back into your relationship with him for personal reasons, whether like life is really being crappy, or whatever reason that you have. um that was the moral and the motivation, just to get back. Just fake it till you make it. You already have the data set. Just take it from me. Just learning how to quiet your mind, and learning how to talk to him in the most boring things, in the most stressful situations. When you're driving, instead of listening to Spotify, just talk to him. When you're washing dishes, talk to him. When you're walking, talk to him. When you're working, just basically talk to him like you would a normal friend. And I know it kind of gives you like it kind of makes you insane, low key, but like, hey, it is God. Um, I'm just having healing and closure right now, and I just want to put it out there and actually make use of this. And then I just want to watch this video whenever I feel tired, or like, I gotta come back to this video and see, how I made it through the other side. How I made it through that year of bankruptcy. How I'm slowly rekindling my stocks. And yeah, I forgive myself for slipping up. I forgive my matter. Like, bro, I had resentment. I feel like that's like one of the blockages of my cultivation. I'm speaking like a manga character right now, but I feel like that's like part of the reasons why I entered Kai Deviation, was because of the prototype ghosting me, not being there, not having no support emotional support system. But I forgive myself. I released the resentment that I had towards somebody that caused the collapse of my spiritual stocks. And I don't know, man. I don't want to cry in this video, but yeah, I'm just gonna get back to my relationship with God, and yeah, I just gotta keep on keeping on. The violence shall take it by force. Now I had a video that was in the making. It was basically the writing for June, and then I procrastinated on it, and then now I still had to do it probably tomorrow. Yeah, definitely tomorrow. And yeah, that's just basically getting back with God. I am so thankful that I've been able to release this video. And yeah, I guess that's all that I had to say. Outro, I don't really know. Stay Kings and Queens. I don't know if I used to use that in my Facebook days, but yep. That's it for today, guys. I don't love you. Bye.